video, we will look at how the Ukraine war will end. And will Ukraine win? Don't know. But do I think they will? Yep. Do we really know how? No. But do we know how fast it'll be? No, it'll be faster than what I say, I bet you. But, yeah. Let's see. Do they take any of these war strategies? It'd be interesting if they did. I feel like their next major campaign will be in the Zaporizhia area and over towards Melitopol. And yeah, one thing before I continue this video, which is a more factual video than most wild mapping videos, I'd like to mention this. An accidental Ukrainian air defense system strike is what they say it was now. Yesterday, I thought it was a Russian strike, but no, that's not right. It's a, mistake. Poland was going to issue Article 4, whatever Article 4 is. I know what Article 5 is, but Article 4, not really sure. And they were going to get, and they did have an emergency meeting, but nothing was done, I guess. Except, it's good to know that it probably was. Hopefully it was, because if it was a Russian one, that wouldn't be so great. Well, Melitopol just took away the Russian flag. Interesting turn of events. You claimed, Luhansk, Kherson, Donetsk, and Luhansk all as part of your territory. Luhansk, not fully occupied by you anymore. Donetsk lost some territory. How about Kherson? Oh yeah, you were over here, but you fell back. And I think I heard there may have been like a landing by Ukraine in that area, like right here. So if that is true, they'll push here, getting behind some Russian defenses. And I think they would attack here, mostly because they could cut this land bridge off. And Melitopol, as it gets re-liberated. And plus, the Russian bridge is gone, so there's nothing stopping Ukraine. Although, Russia has been making the slightest gains in the world. Yeah, they have been making it. And assuming they continue their slight advances, they would push in. But most likely, they would be focusing on moving troops here, which much like the Kharkiv offensive, they'll attack somewhere else. And they would send some troops here. This is mostly a distraction, but it's kicking them away from connecting to Crimea, which they do successfully, would do. And look at Russia. It's such a weird color for a wild mapping video. Maybe get the proper wild mapping color. And, well, they'll probably get more isolated by this point. Think of it. Like, everybody is basically turned on them. There is a few people who never turned, but that's a rarity. Like, Iran didn't, Syria didn't, Libya didn't, I don't think Nicaragua did, I don't think Cuba did, and I'm pretty sure Venezuela didn't go against Russia. And yeah, not that many countries, a small list. I believe Libya didn't. Not all of these I'm 100% sure of. Belarus definitely did. North Korea did. People who basically just said, what do we do? Include India, China. But they were kind of in a bad spot. And basically, everywhere else just said, Russia, no, you're wrong. There's other countries that stayed semi-neutral, but Saudi Arabia might be turning towards Russia. Which is not great, but it's true. What else is going on in this world besides the war? Oh yeah, rampant inflation. Yeah, that's going so well. Rampant inflation. And let's say this is what the front lines start looking like. Officially. Yeah, it's official. This is what they look like. And that could be next week for all I know. I think it'll be soon. But I don't know how soon, Let's say Russia starts sending in their conscripts, even though I believe they already did. But let's say they send in more. Belarus at this point would be in trouble. But it looks like Belarus might join. But why I doubt it is mostly because, well, if they were going to get involved, it would be stupid. B, what is Belarus really going to do besides invade and then get kicked out? Because if Belarus did get involved, I'd be shocked, A. But B, how far do you think they would get? Yeah, they would get this far. No, I'm kidding. You know how far Belarus would actually get? That far. No, I'm kidding. You know how far they really, really would get? They have 60,000 troops, so that would be 60,000 troops added to the war, which would probably do this. And probably get in. But the Belarusian people are against joining this war, so you know what the Belarusian people will do? They'll say, hey, Ukraine, we come in peace. Ukraine would be like, okay. Ukraine's would be like, at this point, like, after Belarusian people would likely rise up because I believe a high number of Belarusians are against this war. And yeah. And then they get supported by NATO. Because a lot of Belarusians did go to the Ukrainian armed forces. Yeah. But they kind of just do this. But this is interesting what's going on. Ukraine is 22 according to Global Power Index, and behind Russia in everything, basically. Yeah. Air Force, Navy. Yet they're beating Russia's Navy. I don't think they do have a Navy, actually. But you know where there is slow advances going to continue? Here. Well, it appears it would. My knowledge. Right here, I'd say Russia's moving troops to likely would allow this major of a push to happen. And also, there's a lot of partisans, especially in the Zaporizhian region. I think there's lots throughout. But let's say, at this point, partisan activity starts going everywhere. That's mostly Ukrainian. If we make partisans a different color, they could do this. But most likely, most of them would not even move much. They would just be like small or minor. Yeah, just minor. While Russian troops will probably move troops back from here just to defend its territories. Yeah, why wouldn't it? But now this area, I think this is like mostly Russian areas that they're being pushed to. I don't think we would see a lot of pushes in that area just because it's completely fortified. I'd say right here has very good fortification. Because there has been a war in this area for a long time. So they have long enough to build fortifications. And most likely Russia at this point is probably a bit in trouble. Having to protect Crimea. And at this point, right now, which the front lines are different than what it is now according to this map, well, I believe a Ukrainian HIMARS can take anywhere in this area. Basically, anywhere in this area. But that's today with front lines being like here. And front lines, when we're talking about, are like this. Yeah, like that. But it's pretty great. Well, then again, You know why Ukraine's prevailing? Because good only prevails when nothing tries to stop it. Yeah. And well, this is more geopolitical. Most of my videos are not geopolitical in nature, they're fiction. But this is like reality. Well, this is a prediction. It could go anyway. And then these partisan groups basically get taken back. Why would they be needing taken back? Well, Ukraine would likely send some personnel into the Belarusian area on the side of these rebels, if rebels do pop up. Okay, the Belarus thing, this is what would happen if Belarus did get involved, but will they? I would say the probability of that is like 20%, maybe 30%, because people don't want it. This is the hypothetical part of this video. It's hopefully, yeah, and then this is what would happen. They would follow their border. But if you want to see the most likely scenario, it's that Belarus does not get involved. Most likely, but they could, but I doubt it. It'd be pretty stupid for Belarus to get involved. Considering Ukraine can withstand a country with 100,000 men sent in their country attacking. It makes them look unstoppable. Although there is a lot of industry in this area. To be specific, well, in this area of Ukraine has a lot of industry. And Russia's already shown their army is just a Cold War relic. Yeah. Let's say Ukraine continues and well, I would say most likely they would kick Russia out of the Kharkiv region in the future. But many things could happen. Like, would Russia really want to fight if this was what the front lines looked like? Really? Russians don't want to fight now. They have no morale. What do you think the morale would be now? Well, and then that Polish missile I still have shown. Likely many nations. Okay, let's go somewhere else. Moldova might seem to think they can get Transnistria back if they see this. Or Chechnya might be like, we can get independence. Or Georgia might be like, yeah, we can also gain back to our... I think Georgia is more likely to join the war. Because Georgia and Moldova might decide to get involved. They occupy a big chunk of Georgia. They occupy a big chunk of Moldova, which is crazy. And it's like that is what their occupation of Moldova looks like with this. Yeah. Moldova, if either to get involved, how do you think Russia would defend South Ossetia and Abkhazia? They couldn't. So if this did happen, slowly this would happen. And I mean slowly. You know what I think will happen? The CSTO will collapse. I really think so. Think of it. Russia can't protect Armenia. Then, if they can't protect Armenia, then what do they expect to do? With Kazakhstan being an outlier, just so their supposed allies on paper are Belarus, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Armenia. Armenia and Azerbaijan at war. Russia refused support. I believe Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan have had a lot of border skirmishes. Russia does nothing. Kazakhstan moving away. So in the future, they might just have Belarus. Iran. Well, will Iran really be here in the future? Doubt it. But, I mean, this is what the front lines look like. I think I should change it to Ukrainian colors. Slava Ukraine. Yeah, no. I don't know that. Yeah. Yeah, that is what I just said. And why did I ask that? While I was still recording? Don't ask me. I was just checking out what it meant. Which is glory to Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine. Yeah, I like that. With Ukraine entering even further into Kherson, putting pressure on, likely they would be putting pressure at this point on Crimea. And this bridge probably will be completely gone. I don't think Ukraine would hesitate from doing that. But if this does manage to happen by Ukraine, Ukraine will be great, able to take Crimea. And likely, while they head into Crimea, Russia would continue its operations on one front. Yeah, let's say Russia retreats from here. Yeah, they would. They wouldn't, but let's say they get pushed back badly and try to get away. Well, at this point, Russia will see their opportunity to attack Ukraine. And they will make gains, because Ukraine, if they do decide to get Crimea soon, well, let's face it, they'll be moving their forces there, allowing Russia to gain back loads of lands. But the good news is, Ukraine will just push in. And plus, now these troops are encircled, this bridge is destroyed, but let's say just because, it's not perfect, but it would be good. And Ukraine is taking back Crimea. Ukraine would likely make this part of itself again. And then we'll see a Crimean civil war, with them already having cut off water, headed to take, what's that city? I don't know what it is. Forgive my bad pronunciation of Ukrainian places. Yeah, forgive it. With Russia setting up a huge defensive, and they completely get rid of that bridge. And Ukraine's like, yeah, Russia, thanks. And then, well, Russia scrambling sends 16-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 12-year-olds even to this war, yeah. And, well, they start having major success with a full mobilization. And people are blaming the military like they're doing now, which is great for Putin, but not going to last forever. Putin can't just use that as a shield forever. And they start their advance into the rest of Zaporizhia. And taking back the Zaporizhia. And then they continue. And they push back into Luhansk in the north. Well, Russia's in trouble now. This is where the front has been for a long time. And I'd say there'll be a stalemate now. Months of stuff. But they would just go to America, their good old friend, and say, hey, America and allies, can I have more weapons? Israel, can I have some weapons? Israel's like, fine. Yeah, Israel is doing support. And let's say that, well, Poland at this point probably has that site cleaned up. Well, Putin will probably say at this point, launch nukes, but one commander hopefully will say no, and that's avoided the nuclear apocalypse. Yeah, because we're not doing the escalation one, and let's say this is what happens. Even more reparations are demanded at Russia. Russia refuses. Because why would they accept paying how many billion a year with defenses in the Donbass region collapsing? Ukraine starts an air campaign. And as this is happening, they push into the city of Donetsk and take it. As this is happening, they push into the city of Luhansk and take it. And then Russia scrambles out of these lands. Ukraine sends peace to Russia. Russia is like, yeah. Russia says no. Ukraine puts some forces into, no, not there. Belgorod is where they would send them. Let's say they send their forces to Belgorod and they take Belgorod. And, well, what would Russia do here? Peace is sent again. But it's not really accepted. Of peace being sent for a third time, for a second time not being accepted, and peace being sent for a fourth time after the capture of a strategic port of Azov. Well, Russia considers negotiations. But Ukraine, seeing they can get further, actually demand parts of south of Belgorod, some areas here, and here. And they demand Russia demilitarizes itself to less than 500,000 troops. Russia shall not invade Ukraine ever again. Russia has to pay 500 billion euros, let's say. Russia has to pay for all the fixes in Ukraine. Russia must pay 10% of its GDP to Ukraine for 50 years. And Ukraine can join NATO and does not have to be neutral. Russia shall be separated from the world. But you know what? This war is not over. You know why it won't be over when it ends? Collapse isn't right away. You know what is right away? The most dangerous thing that I could see happening, if Russia does manage to lose in Ukraine, which it looks like they are, I could see these guys, Chechnya, declaring their independence, which would likely lead to Dagestan, another separatist region of Russia, in North Ossetia, will probably follow suit. Which Karelia might decide to leave. If that happens. Seeing success, places like Tatarstan might declare independence. You know where else? Yakutsk. Tuva. And this is really what Russia could end up looking like if this happened. Russia, fragmented state. And well, the Donetsk region, well, Ukraine would be paying billions a year, billions, for about the next 10, 20 years if this did happen. And I would say this will be 2023 summer, because Ukraine probably won't be able to pull off much in the winter, but they probably will. You know, Ukraine, everybody said it would take weeks or even months to take Kherson. They took it. Kharkiv, everybody thought it would take months longer to take the rest. Ukraine, months, takes it almost all in days. They predict that Kiev will fall in 4 days. You know what Kiev does? Does not fall and is still standing today. They predicted Ukraine would capitulate within weeks or stop existing as a nation. Continued. They said Russia would definitely win an invasion. But they didn't. They are amazing. They're just like Finns. Actually, they know Estonia beat Russia. And so did Poland years ago. And Chechnya beat Russia, but then Russia came and was like, boom. And I hope you enjoyed this wild mapping geopolitical video. So please like and subscribe to Wild Mapper. Why should you subscribe? Subscribing makes the world go round. I'm at 57 subscribers. This is 18 subscribers away from our 75 subscriber special. Leave a comment. Comments are great and they help me know how my videos are doing. So please leave a comment, subscribe, press the like button. Please like and subscribe. That's all for today's video. Wild